TJ's last summer in Cape Cod. Uncle Peter was the brother of Taj, TJ James's dad, Robert James. TJ was his only nephew. TJ spent the past 3 summers with his uncle in San Bernardino. They had enjoyed each other's company playing football in the backyard, jogging by Lake Gibraltar, working out in the home gym, and going for long drives in the evenings. But most of all, they enjoyed engaging in adult talks. Uncle Peter had a void that was easily filled by this 18-year-old nephew. And it wasn't because he now had an empty nest, since both of his children, Christoph and Carol, had finished university and were no longer home. He saw in TJ the teenager he wanted to be. So all Uncle Peter could do now was live his life through TJ. At 55 years old, Peter James could easily pass for 40 in both physical appearance and attitude to life. He was 6 feet 2 inches tall and muscular, with a youthful air about him. He not only looked young, but also acted young, consuming everything life had to offer and living for that moment. He was extremely gregarious, and he bonded perfectly with his nephew, who was 37 years his junior. He commanded attention wherever he went. If he were to chronicle his life in a memoir, his love life would account for about 70% of it. This simply meant that apart from his womanizing ways, there was not much more to tell. He was destined to be forever young. Uncle Peter ate healthily, exercised regularly, and dressed exceptionally well. He was always being complimented on his appearance, and he had a cosmopolitan approach to life. Uncle Peter used TJ to help mask his philandering lifestyle. The two had developed a very deep bond over the last 3 summers. TJ seldom spent quality time with Aunt Judy, and Uncle Peter made every effort to make TJ his protege. His uncle introduced him to expensive alcohol and playing the field. He would take TJ driving with him when he wanted to visit Belinda, Tess, Margaret, Annabelle, Kathy, Michelle, and so many others TJ can't even remember. Uncle Peter didn't behave anything like TJ's dad, and that had a lot to do with why he enjoyed his uncle's company so much. They had a lot in common. The main differences between them were their age and marital status. TJ eventually realized that Uncle Peter wanted him in San Bernardino, even more than TJ wanted to be there, as TJ fit in perfectly with his lifestyle. Judith Judy James, on the other hand, was very reserved and soft. She was attractive, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 52 years old, and of Indian descent, as her mother's parents were from India. She gave Peter a lot of space, and that undoubtedly fashioned his persona. Remembering the last 3 summers in San Bernardino, Santorino, West Indies, 2011, 2012, and 2013. TJ recalled one evening in the summer of 2011. He was sitting in Uncle Peter's car by the gate in Peddington Hall for over an hour, waiting on his uncle, who had gone inside a house to visit one of his girlfriends. He was gazing so intently on the sunset over the harbor that he didn't realize that a car had pulled up behind him. A short, fat Indian man walked up beside the car and told him that he was blocking his driveway. TJ stared at the man, who was looking at him through the car window. He wasn't quite sure what to do, as he couldn't drive yet, so he called Uncle Peter on his cell phone. Uncle Peter's cell phone rang from the driver's side door pocket, and TJ then knew there was no way he could get a hold of him. The gentleman leaned over to TJ and asked, "Is the driver of this car a man or a woman?" Still unaware of what was happening, TJ innocently replied, "It's my Uncle Peter. He went inside to say hello to a friend who just came home from the hospital." Little did TJ know that this innocent response was going to radically and permanently change his relationship with his uncle. The man dashed off from beside the car and raced through the gate and up to the house. In seconds, Uncle Peter came running toward the car as he was running for his life. He jumped in, and just as he was about to speed off, the two heard a big bang, and they were covered with broken glass. "Oh no, someone threw a rock in the window," TJ said. "A broken window is the least of my concerns now, son. I can easily explain that away. But how do I explain to your aunt why I'm coming home naked? TJ looked quizzically at Uncle Peter's naked body sitting in the driver's seat beside him. It was evident that Uncle Peter felt TJ staring at him, but was too embarrassed to look at his nephew. Taj, my boy, Uncle Peter said, still unable to look at him, help me out of this tonight, and I will do anything, just anything for you, he said, gasping as if he wanted to die. TJ finally began to understand what had just transpired. You must never say anything to your parents. No one. Can you promise me? Uncle Peter begged. We have to find a way to get you some clothes. That's the most urgent thing right now. What if we have an accident or the police pull us over for a traffic check? What do I tell Aunt Judy if she asks what happened to the window? TJ asked Uncle Peter. Right now, TJ, I'm just trying to think of how I can get some clothes. You'll have to tell your aunt that someone threw a stone at the car.